All right, level 3s is applying properties of 30, 60, 90 triangles and 45, 45, 90 triangles when operations with radicals are required. So this, we're going to do the same thing that we have been doing. We always want to find A, but some things might happen once we get solving for the variables with radicals that we'll take care of. So you do know all the skills that take care of the radicals. We just might need to remember those. So here we go. Finding the missing side lengths in the exact form of each triangle. So this is when it's saying exact, this means that we can't use SOHCAHTOA and put it in our calculator because that will give us a decimal. So here we go. In the first one, we've got 45, 45, 90s. So this is a 45, which makes this a 45, which makes this 10 root 6 because I know each of the legs of the right triangle are going to be the same because I have two equal angles. Okay, so that part's done, but I have to find the hypotenuse. Okay, worst case scenario, you forget, do the Pythagorean theorem. Best case scenario is that you remember that that's A, because in the 45, 45, 90 triangles, this is A, and A root 2. So you have A, you just got to find the hypotenuse. So if the hypotenuse is A root 2, and you know A as 10 root 6, you're going to substitute that in for A. So you got 10 root 6 times root 2. So here's where multiplying with radicals comes back. You've got root 6 times root 2. You can put those together and you're going to say 10 root 12. But maybe you remember and say, but wait, Miss Mulaney, I can reduce 12. And I would say, you're right, and you should. So you have 12, so you break it down, 4 and 3. 2 and 2, that's a 3. Okay, so a group of 2's comes out, and then you multiply it with the 10 to be 20 root 3. Okay, so best case scenario, okay, if you can only, today, you understand that, that's perfect. We'll keep working on this because that will get you the correct answer. All answers must be simplified. But if you understand this right now, I can get you the rest of the way later in the week, okay? Okay, so in the next one, again, you got a 45, 45, 90. So I always like to just draw the triangles going in the same direction so it looks like just like this one. And I label A, and A root 2. With whatever triangle, whether it's a 45, 45 or a 30, 60. So for this one, you have the 14 side, that's a hypotenuse. So that means that I have the A root 2. So I'm going to say A root 2 equals 14. So to solve for A, you're going to divide by root 2. Now, unlike level 2s, the roots on both sides canceled out. Of course, in level 3s, they're not that easy. So you've got 14 over root 2. Now, if you're saying, wait, Miss Mulaney, I can't have a root in the bottom, I would say, you're right, you can't. So if you remember, to get the root out of the bottom, you multiply top and bottom by whatever root is in the bottom. 14 times root 2 is just 14 root 2. Then root 2 times root 2 is really root 4, but the square root of 4 is just 2. Now the last thing that you got to look at and make sure is, can you simplify any numbers that are outside the radical? In this case, the 4 and the 2. 14 and 2. 14 and 2 are divisible by 2, so this is really 7 root 2 as your final answer. Remember, you can't reduce the root 2 on the top and the 2 on the bottom because one has a root and one does not. They're not friends. They don't get along. Okay, now let's take a look at examples of 30, 60, 90 triangles when the radicals kind of get in the way here. So again, I'm going to redraw the triangle so it's kind of going the right direction. If this works for you, great. If not, skip it. It's okay. Okay, across from the 30 is A, hypotenuse 2A, A root 3. Okay, so here we go. The side that I know in my triangle that's given is 10 root 3. That's a hypotenuse of 2A. So I'm going to take 2A, I'm going to set it equal to 10 root 3. To solve for a, I'm going to divide by 2. And then numbers outside the radical simplify. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So 5 root 3 is the a side, which is across from the 30. Okay? Then to take care of that last side, that's the a root 3 side. So if I know a is 5 root 3, I'm going to substitute that in. So that's a. Then I got the root 3 from the ratio. So again, I can multiply roots together. Root 3 times root 3 is just 3. So really this is 5 times 3, which is 15. So one side of that triangle is 15, the other side is 5 root 3. Okay, take a look at one more example here for 30, 60, 90s. So 30, 60, a, 2a, a root 3. Okay, so the side that I have here is the side that's adjacent to the 30-degree angle, and that's the a root 3 side. So I'm going to say a root 3 equals 3. We're going to divide by root 3, cancel those out. And you're going to say, wait, Miss Mulaney, you told me that I can't have a root in the denominator. And I would say, you're right. So let's multiply by root 3 over root 3. On the top, that will give you 3 root 3. On the bottom, that will just give you a 3, because root 3 times root 3 is root 9. And that's just 3. Numbers on the outside, check to see if you can divide them. So you got 3 divided by 3 is 1, so you can write this as 1 root 3, or just root 3. So that would be solving for a. Okay, so the side that's a in my triangle that I was given or asked to find is the side that's across from the 30, opposite the 30. So this is root 3. Okay, then the hypotenuse is the 2a. So if I have 2a and I know a equals what? Root 3? You're going to substitute that in. So 2 times root 3. And there's nothing to simplify here. So that last side of the triangle is 2 root 3. Alright? One more. Okay, determine the area of the triangle ABC. So here we go again. We got to find the base and we got to find the height. So if you look at this triangle, it didn't tell me it was equilateral, but I do see that it is isosceles. So this side over here is going to be 8, because this side over here is 8. The second thing that I see is I have a 45-degree angle and then a 90-degree angle. So that must mean that this up here is 45, and that this side and that side are equal, because I have 2 equal angles. Okay, so I've got a 45, 45, 90 triangle, which makes this nice. That is a terrible triangle. Let's try that again. Alright, that's better. So I got 45, 45, here's the 8, whoops, but instead of doing 8, I'm going to label this as a root 2, a, and a. So again, the reason why I'm doing this is because in order to find the area of the triangle, I need to know what the base and the height are. And if I find this side here, I can find that side there, which makes me find the whole total. And then I can also find the height. So doing this will give me everything that I need. So in the original triangle that I have the hypotenuse, and that's the a root 2 side. So say a root 2 equals 8. Divide by root 2. Wait, Miss Mulaney, you can't have a root on the bottom. I know. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply by root 2 over root 2. Gets me 8 root 2 over 2. Again, this is root 4. Simplified is just 2. Numbers on the outside, 8 divided by 2 is 4. So I got 4 root 2 is a. So that means this side is 4 root 2, this side is 4 root 2, and the height is 4 root 2. So the total base is 4 root 2 plus 4 root 2. I'm really making you guys remember your radicals right now. When you add radicals, remember the numbers on the outsides change, numbers on the insides don't. That's when you add or subtract them, they don't change. So this is going to be 8 root 2. When you multiply, everything changes, but when you add and subtract, only the outside number changes. So this is the total base. So again, I can go find my area now. So 1/2 the base times the height. So when you go ahead and multiply this, I'm going to actually move this down here to give us more room. So the area equals 1/2 the base times the height. Okay, so when you multiply this, you're going to multiply all the numbers on the outsides together. So the 1/2, the 8, and the 4. And that's going to give you 16. And then you can multiply the root 2 times the root 2. And again, if you can do this in your head, do this in your head. If not, it gives you root 4, which just simplifies down to 2. And you multiply that with the 16 because everything here is being multiplied together. So 16 times 2 is 32. All right, those are level 3s. You guys got this. Just remember those radical rules.